What if the root cause of your skin issues was deeper than just hormones or gut health or whatever it is that you might see on TikTok today? What if the answer lies in something a little bit more specific, like your cellular health? My guest today talks about the answer for how you can start to clean up your cells. Yes, your toxic shampoo or your non organic produce, or maybe even your favorite candles can be impacting your health, but it's at a cellular level. And Jessica Kane Berman is on a mission to help us connect the dots between the products that we're using every single day and how we feel, how we look mentally, physically, energetically. Jess is the chief brand officer and co-owner of BodyBio, a third-generation family-owned company that's been pioneering science-backed supplements for cellular health. But her work goes way beyond just capsules and bottles. With a fierce commitment to transparency and wellness rooted in real science, Jess is breaking down complicated concepts around toxic burden and cellular health so that we as consumers can make better decisions without fear-mongering. I don't know about you, but whenever I scroll on social media, it feels like there's always a new detox or a new supplement that I should be taking, that I'm being screamed at about. And I love Jess's approach because she's coming from a place of real science, and the products that her and her company create are incredible. I actually take them myself. And so in this episode, Jess helps to reveal some of the hidden ways that we are being exposed to toxins every single day, how we can start to reduce our toxic load, how we can start to clean up our cells, how we can also help our kids clean up as well, and specifically how their products from BodyBio help do that. So whether you are deep in your wellness journey and you're really looking for that next step to take things to a whole new level, or maybe if this is all new to you and you feel overwhelmed, but you want some practical, clear, tangible steps, you've got to listen to this episode. We talk about everything from Botox to fillers to how to help your kids with colds. And I even ask her what her favorite products are, including skincare. So I think this episode will be really insightful for you. I know I learned a lot of mom hacks myself. So let's dive in. Welcome to the Trust Issues Podcast, the show where we question everything society tells us about how to live, work, eat, and be. I'm Erica Auckland, a mom, entrepreneur, and advocate for living life on your own terms. Here we challenge the status quo, from the food we feed our families to the way that we build wealth and well-being. You'll hear unfiltered conversations with everyone from farmers, financial experts, and everyday people who are doing life differently, all with one goal: to help you live healthier, freer, and more abundant. If you've ever felt like there's more to life than following the crowd, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Jess, welcome to the Trust Issues Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, we need to talk, and we're going to just dive into the conversation around Botox, filler.
Let's go.
You did a video the other day, and I think this is such a relevant topic because I think a lot of people are becoming more and more aware of their toxic load. And you just did a video talking about what you're doing to avoid Botox, filler. I am someone who has done Botox and filler. I'm 36 years old. I want to look good. I want to feel fresh, but I'm also a mom. I've got young kids, just like your listeners. And I think that this is a conversation more and more people are having online. I'm seeing, because they're like, okay, is Botox, like, does this align with my healthy lifestyle? So can you talk to us about your perspective, obviously being an expert, and what you are doing to avoid some of these things? What are you doing?
I wouldn't call myself an expert. I would call myself a uber crunchy mom. Maybe not even uber. I'm a crunchy mom, but I'm also like an aspiring. I wish I could have more. Like I want horses and cows and a ranch one day. It's not going to happen anytime soon in New Jersey. But it's, for me, I think like a huge perspective in my health changed when I became a mom. And I think for a lot of us, like that's the point of inflection in which we really start being careful about what we're putting on our body and in our body. And then as we get older and you're just exposed to more and more people contacting you and being like, oh my God, I have this disease, I have this ailment, I have this problem. It starts in our 30s, and then I turned 40 last year, and I feel like it just like compounded. And all of a sudden it was like people calling me with breast cancer and people calling me with colon cancer. And I'm just like, what is happening in our world?
Whoa.
So I think it's like this, for me, it's this like period of time in which I'm just like, okay, let's evaluate what my value systems are. And if a big part of that is living a healthy lifestyle, longevity, but it's also balance, let's weigh the cost of what things are important to me and what toxins I'm willing to be exposed to and what toxins I'm not. So I'm not going to sit here and say I've never done Botox. I actually did it once last year, March 2024. I turned 40 in November of 2023. So I was like, I'm 40. I'm going to do it. I don't like these lines in the middle of my forehead. I tried it and it just felt weird. Like I'm very intuitive when it comes to my health. I'm actually super intuitive when it comes to other people's health as well. But like for me, I just felt like this is blocking lymph. Like there's no way this is not, and they can do the studies to say it doesn't pass the blood-brain barrier or any of this. But at the same time, somebody who is like very loved and dear in my life started seeing older, much older, started seeing double. And after all of these tests and ruling out that she didn't have a stroke and it wasn't this and there was nothing neurological going on, her doctor said this may be a side effect of the Botox that you've had over many years. And now this person's in her 70s. So like I heard that and it's funny because my husband was always the one to be like, don't get Botox. Like and like God bless him. He just doesn't care. It's the women that care about these things and we care about it for other women. And so I just kind of was like, I don't feel like this is serving me. There are other toxins that I'd like to be exposed to, and Botox is just not one of them. When it comes to fillers, I think the really interesting thing, I was having a great conversation with Dr. Miguel Mascaro from Miami. Like, I love fat. I love fat injections. So if you can do it, look for those fat transfers, because I think that's something that's going to, it's more natural. Like, I think that's like my goals for the future.
That's so smart. Okay, so I've also seen from your company, BodyBio, I have seen you guys run amazing ads of these before and afters of women who prior they had acne, their face looked perhaps a little sullen, hyperpigmentation. Honestly, a big part of what my story was before I became cognizant to all the toxins I was exposing myself to. I struggled with really terrible acne. And, we all go down our own rabbit holes and wherever the entry is. For me, it was my skin. And I think that that's a huge thing that a lot of women are, we're marketed to every day of all these topicals and all these products to put on our face. But to my understanding, you have such a different approach with your clients and your customers who are purchasing BodyBio. So what is some of the causes of the skin issues that we're seeing and that, your clients are coming to you and then obviously improving?
You're an Emily Morrow girly, right?
Oh yeah, I love
Okay.
Emily.
So,
Yes.
and like I attribute this correlation to her. This was
Oh.
not research that my grandfather was sitting around doing in the 90s and the early 2000s and saying like this stuff helps acne. No, it's getting to that root cause of what is triggering the acne, right? What are the hormonal imbalances? What is the liver stagnation? What is the toxic burden on the liver, the gallbladder? Getting this foundational element of getting all these organ systems working in the way that they should. And then that starts to heal from within and it's expressed on the outside because our skin is our largest organ. And so I think so many people approach it in the wrong way of like these constant band-aids. It's very much driven by this pharmaceutical model, the allopathic model of, you have acne, here's Accutane. Well, like, let's talk about the relationship between Accutane and ulcerative colitis. Like, there's such crazy stuff happening. And, it's like, well, if you let's just simply look at, and I love like the clear stem acne panel. I think that that's so innovative. Let's look at what are the imbalances that are going on and then how do we address that for the bio individual person that you are. So there's not a one size fits all, but there is most definitely liver congestion that is happening from the toxic burden that we are constantly under, right? Like a friend of mine who is a total health food, clean living, she's an influencer, like all the things. And she just did her tests and her glyphosate levels are off the charts.
Whoa.
But that can be from what you're exposed to as a child. That could be from when you were in your 20s. Like, who knows where that's coming from? Maybe it's coming from a recent move and you're exposed to something in the soil and in the air that you weren't sure of. So you're eating organic, you're doing all the right things, but you're still exposed to this stuff. So let's not forget that. None of it's like your fault. A lot of it just happens to be the environment that we're living in. There are very clear things that people can do for hormone regulation at the cellular level to optimize our hormone balance. And so a lot of the products that we manufacture, whether it's the phospholipids that are helping to go in and like grab onto those biotoxins and remove them from the body, or whether it's things like balance oil and evening primrose oil that are helping to regulate your hormonal balance that so many of us are missing from our diets. And it really mimics, I mean, it's seed cycling essentially. And so it's just really pure, healthy, essential fatty acids that I think are so important for our health. There's things like TUDCA that we manufacture that are so critical for just kind of getting the liver moving and the gallbladder moving and clearing out gallstones and gallbladder sludge and slow bile. There's so many things, but I think a lot of it really comes down to what is the root cause, particularly of your acne. And then addressing that, taking a look at like, what are these foundational things that I can be doing for my health? And I think that's really what makes BodyBio so different is we are not like, this works for acne, this works for this.
Right.
It's we're creating this foundation of essential nutrients that your cells and your mitochondria and your organelles need to properly function so that your body can do its thing.
It's so good. And I'm a user of the products. I've noticed such a difference in my own skin, like the bounce of my skin, the glow of my skin. And I've been a skincare girly for like 2 decades. Like I am through and through a product girl, and there was just so much missing in the internal stuff. I kind of want to take it back because I think that to lay a little foundation of what some of these toxic burdens are that might be hiding in someone's daily routine or daily life. What are some of the top things that you see your customers that they are exposing themselves to that you're like, okay, this is the first things that have to go?
I mean, there are the silent ones that you don't know about. So your heavy metals, your herbicides, your pesticides. There are, just walking your kids to school. And, like I looked on our public school in New Jersey, they had pesticide signs up on their school. Like, what are they spraying on those schools?
No.
So it's all that. And some places are more, exposed to it than others. It's then think about, I think about it in terms of like moms. You go to a kid's playground and they now have this like rubber thing they put everywhere. Well,
They
what
just
is
did that
that?
at our playground.
Or like AstroTurf.
What
What's
is
under
it?
there? It's just plastics. It's just chemicals. And so there's been so much innovation in these things, but it's not like anyone stopped along the way to say, okay, we put tires on cars, but one way to recycle these because you can't destroy them. They're stuck here on this planet and we've invented these chemical compounds. So one way to reuse them and recycle them is to put them in children's playgrounds so that the playground's bouncier. Well, then your kids are running around that barefoot and you're running around it barefoot in the heat and in the summer. And what's that doing? How is that being absorbed into the skin? So there's silent things like that. There's the actual chemicals that we're putting on ourselves, like endocrine disruptors and fragrances and all of these things. I don't go so far as to say like, oh, I don't spray perfume on myself anymore. That's a definite no. I used to love it. I don't anymore. It just now it gives me a headache whenever I use it. The chemicals that we use in our homes to clean. Things that are sprayed on our food. I mean, I talked about herbicides and pesticides. I'm trying to think of some others that I've seen like show up in lab tests. Molds. Molds. I mean, that's definitely a silent one that we don't even know is affecting us, but can obviously greatly affect us. Viruses, Lyme, spirochetes that hang out for the rest of your life. What are other kind of toxins? A lot of it really comes down to different chemical compounds. I remember looking at a really cool test that I did, a blood test that looks at mitochondrial health. It's since closed. The gentleman who ran it passed away. It was an amazing test. And I remember seeing this one chemical called like linolein or something.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
my
I've heard of this.
grandfather was like, that is a chemical that has been banned that was used in dry cleaning in the 1980s. Well, this stuff is still hanging out, right?
Wow.
And it's disrupting our mitochondrial health and it's causing mitochondrial dysfunction. And that in turn is then causing cell danger response and it's causing disease. So I think that we are today products of hundreds, 100 years of innovation and making of these things, but nobody's ever stopped to really say, hey, how's that actually going to affect our health in the long run? And that's where we are today. So it's like, all right, in the grand scheme of things, I'm exposed to a lot of stuff, and I like doing lasers, and maybe I want to put some numbing cream on my face, even though it doesn't really feel very good. I'm not going to do Botox because I'd rather do other things. And I know I'm exposed to all this stuff.
It's everywhere. I think to like someone who is obviously educated and I do the research, it feels overwhelming. But to someone who's like, I'm brand new at this, like this feels like everything's going to kill me. And I think that sometimes will be like the cop out people will use is
Yeah,
like,
they'll get overwhelmed.
yeah, it's like this is just too much. Oh my gosh, like everything's gonna kill us. And I don't think that's really like my listener. My listener is like they're digging in and like they want to know.
Yeah.
But like really for the person who's starting, like where would you start them? Because obviously we can't control what they're putting on our kids' school lawns, but
No, and I balance that. Like
yeah,
my
how do
kids
you
go to
balance
public
it all?
school. If they eat goldfish in their classroom for somebody's birthday or for snack time, I'm okay with that. I know what I can control in my own home, and I know what I can control. We eat at restaurants. I don't avoid restaurants. There are some people that may choose to do that. I love food. I love fine dining. I love going to like really interesting chefs and innovative things. I just couldn't do that. And I'm also not the person that sits at a restaurant being like, can you not use seed oils? I actually just enjoy. And what I do is I really focus on, both for myself, my kids, my husband, how do I really make sure that I'm taking care of our cellular health at home and look at what we are eating, what we're cleaning with, what we are supplementing with, all of those things, so that we are building up this resilience so that we can go out and enjoy. And I think that's part of what makes BodyBio so unique is like that's the message we're trying to tell people, right? There is, yes, your parents and your grandparents didn't need this in their generations, but today we need help from things. And phospholipids and these healthy fats and essential fatty acids like balance oil can come in and really help to decrease the cellular inflammation, make sure your cells in your liver and your gallbladder and your gut and your brain are all functioning well so your body's natural detoxification processes work. And so it's less of a like fear mongery, avoid all this stuff, more of a the more you know, and here's the solution. And the next stages for us is really like providing proof to that solution. So starting to try to do clinical trials and get some funding and try to actually move forward in proving that this stuff actually works this way.
That's so refreshing because obviously you said you're not the expert, but in my mind, you are the expert. And for you to be, this person representing BodyBio, this is your family's business. And like, this is what you live and breathe. For you to be like, yeah, I go to restaurants. That's a huge like exhale for a lot of people to be given that permission. You mentioned seed oils. What is your take on seed oils? Because there's an all-out war on social around no seed oils, and you're saying, I'm not going to stress it if I go to a restaurant and eat seed oils. Do you eat seed oils in your home? Like, what is your take on that, and how do you balance that?
Yeah, so none in our home whatsoever. In our home, we use balance oil. So balance oil is seed oils. What it is essential fatty acids. There's a huge difference between oxidized, rancid seed oils and essential fatty acids. And that is critically important. And I think we're missing that nuance in today's world of, influencers talking about something and like getting on a bandwagon. If you talk to somebody who's a registered dietitian or nutritionist who has really studied this, they know the difference between rancid oxidized canola oil, store-bought stuff that's sitting on a shelf under bright lighting, and balance oil, which is providing cold-pressed, solvent-free, organic, carefully treated. Like we test for the oxidation levels of EPO and balance oil on every batch. So we make sure that it's specific parameters in our testing, and we go above and beyond spending a ton of money on extra testing that other companies would never do. And so we do it because we treat this like food is medicine, right? And these are essential nutrients for people. So in my home, balance oil, really high quality olive oils, what's that company? Olivia Dorado. I just started ordering their olive oil. It's organic. What I'll do is I use a lot of different recipes like dips. I make I put like a cup of balance oil, a cup of cottage cheese, lemon zest, lemons, and some herbs and spices, and I'll blend that and I use that as like a dip on like chicken, steak, anything. And then
love that.
the kids are getting these like, healthy fats. We are as well, but it's not like a burden to sit there and take a teaspoon of something.
Right.
Same with my kids' chocolate milk every morning. So every morning they get raw milk, they get a scoop of Haya powder. It's this like chocolate powder, or I'll use, prime protein like chocolate, or I can't wait till Emily comes out with her
I
protein powder. I will
know. I'm
absolutely be
ready
using
for
that.
it.
So I'll use like a good quality protein, try to, not have too much stevia and things, although a little's fine. Also sugar's fine.
Yeah.
And then I'll put in balance oil, a little bit of remineralized into my kids' thing, use a milk frother, mix it all up, they drink it right up. So
good.
they're getting those good fats in. They're getting the fats in that are so important for their brain, so important for any kids that have any type of ADHD symptom. I make sure they're taking balance oil. Other than that, tallow, schmaltz, anything else that I use in my house? No, maybe sometimes coconut oil. That's it.
It's so good. That is a recipe that I'm going to do. Like,
Yeah.
I already make like a raw milk concoction for my toddler. I'm like, why? So you're putting balance oil in it?
Yeah, just put like just a dash of balance oil
I love
into the large thing, and then you really just blend it up. They
Yeah.
won't taste it.
No, so good. Such a
Yeah.
good sneak. Oh my gosh. I love that.
And like in the summer, I'll do like a bunch of wild blueberries and berries that I get at the
Mm-hmm.
farmer's market, not do a chocolate.
Yeah.
So I think there's so many ways to get creative with the stuff, and we're trying to get more into that space so that people don't feel overwhelmed by like constantly feeling like they need to be taking teaspoons, tablespoons of things. Like, how do we integrate it into foods to really make it part of our lives?
Yeah, so good. You mentioned cellular health. Like, you guys talk about this. It's all over the website. I think to someone who might be new to this, it's like, okay, it sounds really scientific. It may sound complex to them. But what does it actually mean as it relates to our day-to-day, our energy, our mood, our focus, and how maybe our kids feel as well?
It's how strong our body is and how resilient we are to the external stresses of our world. That's what it is. For me, that's what we define it as. Cellular health to me is resilience. Cellular health is how do I make our bodies stronger, essentially, to be able to combat all this stuff. And I think that my grandfather saw that. I mean, I've got such incredible papers. I was just finding some stuff yesterday that he wrote, detoxification of biotoxins and chronic neurotoxic syndromes, a paper that he wrote in 1999. It's like this stuff, they saw that this was happening. And I don't think he could possibly believe how much knowledge has been brought forth about it. But where all these things affect us is our cells. They break down our cell wall. Just like you have leaky gut, you get leaky cells. So how do we go in and reinforce those cells and the cell membrane, that wall that protects your cells and your mitochondria? You do that through phospholipids, which are exactly what makes up that wall. And so he really like saw this whole picture and put together a product line that he knew would be helpful in building up people's cellular strength so that they could have better health span, better lifespan, live stronger. I think what we're seeing now with the rates of disease, the rates of autoimmune disease, the impact on children, the impact on children's learning disabilities, is that it's affecting every generation more and more. Mm-hmm. So the generation of our great-grandparents or our grandparents who could smoke a pack of cigarettes a day and live till 95, those days are gone.
Dang.
And we are born today, our children are born with a higher toxic burden than we were. And there's some incredible research on mitochondrial dysfunction and how kids under the age of 12, Dr. Robert, what's his name? I'll think of it. It's out of CHOP in Philadelphia. Children under the age of 12, if they have some sort of disease, it is 98% of the time due to mitochondrial dysfunction. Well, where are they getting those mitochondria? From the moms. Right? So we're passing this toxic burden on to our kids. It's not your fault. Again, like this is not mom shaming.
Yeah.
This is just educating us on the things that we can do to build up our cellular resilience.
So good. I read on y'all's blog about like a prenatal / pregnancy kind of lineup of products that you guys suggest, which I think this is one of the top questions I get all the time is like, Erica, what prenatals did you take? And I always hesitate to suggest products. I did take PC through my entire pregnancy.
Love it.
I didn't take balance oil, but I started taking it postpartum.
Great.
And then your sodium butyrate I started taking as well during pregnancy. I
Nice.
had a great pregnancy. My baby is really like, I mean, there's a definite difference in the two. My first versus my second. My first had some eczema issues or some other things that he was exposed to. And then my second, he's just like so healthy. He's literally never been sick. Like he is just vibrant. And I know there's so many factors and a lot of nuance, but I would love for you to talk to the mom who is listening. And she's like, okay, I am aware now. You're educating me around what I could potentially be exposing my children to through pregnancy. What can I do now if I'm pregnant to start taking, to start helping support my body and my baby?
Yeah, and I think this pulls in an interesting topic because sometimes I'll get people say, "Well, PC you talk about for detoxification, surely you shouldn't be taking that during pregnancy." We make PC in our body all the time. Our ability to make it is hindered by our toxic exposure as well as by the foods we're consuming, as well as age. As we get older, we make less and less of it. So it's not like it's not a bad thing. It's not like increasing detoxification. It's nourishing to the body. And so I always remind people, like, it's so important. And no prenatal has ample amounts of choline. And so phosphatidylcholine, when you actually take it in the form that we have it, will actually create choline in the body when it's needed. So it knows that the body is pregnant and it knows it's going to create extra choline and acetylcholine and phospholipids, and it works out that whole balance on its own. So we'll actually supply choline, which is really, I mean, obviously it's incredibly important, but it's also going to help supply those phospholipids to the baby. So BodyBio PC, first and foremost for pregnancy. Next up would be balance oil. And then Elite really saved me through my pregnancies, particularly in labor. I thought it was so important. What is labor? It's one giant muscle contraction.
Yeah.
And like I got terrible cramps with my third. I mean, really horrible leg
Oh,
cramps in the
so
middle of
did
the night.
I.
Yeah. Well,
Like
Eli,
post
I
birth?
wasn't drinking enough. No, pre. Like
Oh.
36 weeks, horrible. But I wasn't drinking enough water, and I like drinking reverse osmosis water. Sure, it's cleaner. Like, please, I hope nobody who's listening to this podcast is drinking tap water.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But you know, RO water needs the minerals. We need the good minerals in there. So I just wasn't putting enough Elite in my water during that third pregnancy. Plus, you're like chasing two little toddlers. It was chaos. So Elite's critically important. And then in the third trimester, I always tell mamas to also add in Fish Oil Plus, which is actually launching May 19th with the new name Resolvin, because it has those naturally occurring pro-resolving mediators and SPMs in them. And so we're changing the name of it because it kept getting categorized as a fish oil. And I'm like, no, this is an SPM. Like, this is an anti-inflammatory molecule. So it's got a great amount of DHA for pregnancy as well.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's such a good lineup. What about?
And keep it with
Oh,
the
yeah.
same. Remove the fish oil for breastfeeding. Phospholipids BodyBio PC is an optimized form for absorption of sunflower lecithin. So all these moms who take sunflower lecithin when they have plugged ducts or
Oh,
breastfeeding
wow.
issues, just take PC. Your baby's going to get more benefit from it.
That's so good. As someone who's had mastitis 3 times,
Oh my God.
it is the worst. I always tell my
It
husband,
is
I'm like, I'd rather
horrible.
have contractions and be in labor again than have
Oh, I don't know if I'd
mastitis.
do that, but
Oh, that is so good. That's such a good hack. Okay. I love these like little granular things because I think they really, in a day-to-day life, it's just practical, it's applicable. What about for the mom who might want to give, to their children? I don't know what
yeah.
appropriate age is, but you mentioned you obviously give your kids balance oil. What about your other products that you might give your kids that you?
Definitely PC. You can even like take a little drop of PC and give it to baby, like mix it with some water and give it in a, mix it up and give it in a syringe to younger babies. I have had some mamas, and this was an interesting one that came up in our Facebook group, use it. Again, we're not getting into this discussion of whether or not I'm not talking about my personal choices or what anybody else should do. Vaccines.
Sure.
So pre and post, if they choose to vaccinate, using that as something that actually pulls out and removes the adjuvant. So I have had mamas say that they've had great success using PC in that way. And I've seen some people using it as early as like 6 months old.
Wow. Okay.
So if you're breastfeeding, they're going to get some through that as well. And then for older kids, I think that should be continued to be used. I usually started my kids off around like a year old. That's usually when I stopped breastfeeding. And so I would just add a little balance oil to their milk. For any moms that can't breastfeed, that are doing, let's say you're doing like the Weston Price, you're making your own breast milk, do not use the oils they tell you to use.
Yes.
Use balance oil. Because they're telling you to use, like, I think it's like olive oil and
Sunflower oil and
cod liver
olive
oil.
oil. Yes.
And the two mother essential fatty acids that are at the top of the food chain of essential fatty acids are linoleic and alpha linolenic. And so the haters of linoleic say there's too much oxidized linoleic, but what I'm saying is balanced oil is not oxidized linoleic. So it's like this health food that's so needed. And I always tell people, use balanced oil if you're doing the Weston Price formulas, or if you're making your own formula. Even if you are using formula, add a little bit in of balanced oil, and it's going to help with, offsetting the unfortunately the bad sixes and threes that are in formula.
Oh my gosh, these are such good little tips. You're a hero to the moms right now. So good.
The other thing I think that's really important for our kids, and I just learned this one myself. My 5.5-year-old had a really significant cavity, started in August. I mean, I won't say really significant. I'm over exaggerating. She had this cavity on one of her molars. And I was like, I'm going to do all the things. I'm going to put hydroxyapatite. I'm going to put tooth putty on it every night. Took her to a biological dentist. And he said, you can try and do all these things. You're not going to remineralize this tooth. She needs to get it fixed, which unbelievable, the experience of going to a biological dentist versus a non. Like, used ozone, used this laser, used this thing. She got no numbing whatsoever. I mean, he used this like device that numbed with a laser. It was crazy. And I said, why do you think kids are getting these cavities? And he said, it's minerals. Our minerals are so depleted. And so I've been giving the kids Remineralize. I mean, we came out with it in, I don't know, I think it was like February. I give them each like 2 to 4 drops in their water that they take to school. And then I give it to them in their drinks. I put a little in there, a little chocolate milk in the morning. I'm really trying to get some more minerals into the kids to help with bone density. And I think a lot of we can feed our kids really healthy seasonal foods, but I just think our world's been affected by a lot of the herbicides and pesticides that are used out there.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%. I think it's like, it is these little things that make up for so much depletion, so much lack. You talked about, detoxing. And this is like such a conversation. Everyone's wanting to detox their kids, detox themselves. And I think that you would probably have a really great perspective of like, what's the right way to detox? Are these detoxes that people are buying online? Are these supplements even doing anything? I mean, I have my own thoughts, but I'd love to hear from you around maybe some misunderstandings or myths around detoxing supplements.
I have two women in my life that I really trust when it comes to my own personal health. They're my practitioners. So one is somebody who does more like lymph and body work with me. Very intuitive, very much a healer. She's like, I don't touch kids until they're 11. And I thought that was so interesting. She does the nutritional supports, but she is most definitely not doing zeolite
Thank you.
sprays.
I was going to say it, but I'm like, can you talk to me about this?
And, whatever it is that these people are hawking on TikTok. Now, there are children that need medical intervention, and that is different than hearing your kid grind their teeth at night and deciding that they need to be taking zeolite sprays every day. So let's remember that when we use binders, it's pulling from the body. Our children have less of a toxic buildup than we do, and they're able to detoxify better, right? Mm-hmm. They have just an innate ability to do that, and we need to empower their bodies to do that better. So I go back to the nourishment, and this really came from the other kind of doctor in my life is Dr. Christine Perfetta, who helped me post mold exposure. And I said, should I bring my kids up? One of my kids is really seeing signs of like inattentive behavior. This was in kindergarten, and I'm in a public school, so I was definitely taking everything with a grain of salt. But, I want him to succeed at school, and I believe in the school system. Now, I'm not like unschooling. That's fine for whoever does it. For me, it just doesn't, that's not my life. But for them, I really wanted to be able to support him, and we knew we had mold in our home. And she said, kids detox very well. Just give them PC, do 1 month of glutathione. So I did Research Nutritionals Try Fortify, and I did basically a whopping teaspoon of PC and balance oil every day for them. And I continue to do that for them. So they're still taking the healthy fats. I at out the glutathione. They have no issues. My baby was like, let's see, when he was born in the moldy house, at like 6 months old, 4 months old, started getting horrible croup.
Oh,
all the time. And I'm like, my mom intuition told me that
yeah.
there's mold in this house. And the second it was gone, he stopped getting croup. He's never had it again. And so, same for him. I was giving
Mhm.
him PC balance oil, making sure he got these healthy fats. They could grab onto the molds and things and remove them from their body. And yeah, that was like a, but I just don't, it was a real awakening to work with like those two women. And then you see so much online about these things. And, sometimes occasionally I look at my kids and be like, do they need nutritional supports?
Mhm.
Not things that are removing from the
Mhm.
body. If they get a tummy bug, I'm going to give them some takasumi. If
Mhm.
they, but I just think this like constant use of these binders are not the answer for our kids. I think we need more nourishment than we
Mhm.
do binding and removing.
Yeah, no, that's so good. And also, like I said, it's like it's refreshing because the online space is just for a mom who's searching for maybe what's present in their child. I hear a lot of allergies, eczema, skin issues, or attention stuff, neurological stuff. And for you to say, like, okay, let's just nourish them more.
Nourish with these fats that they're not getting from their diet or their foods.
Hmm.
If your kid is eating white pasta and chicken fingers, and that is fine. Picky eaters happen. I'm not judging that child. It's my best friend's kid. I always try and get stuff in her daughter, but just try in any way to disguise and get in these healthy fats.
So good. So, so good. Okay, so I want to just pivot quick because I want you to talk about your company. Okay, BodyBio, you've given us so many nuggets around health and wellness, but who is BodyBio? What is this company? You've mentioned your grandfather. I think this story is really inspiring and I'd love for you to share it.
Happy to. So, BodyBio was my grandfather's company, started in 1998. My husband and I run it today. He's the CEO. I'm kind of like the face of the brand. My brother works for us. My brother-in-law works for us. We have people who have worked with us for 25 years. The first person that ever made PC still works with us and is
No
making
way.
butyrate. And it's a true family owned and operated business. It's third generation. My grandfather I'm looking at this and it's got such a great old logo, so I'll show you. But
I have
like
to see
this
this.
was like one of the older logos of Body
Oh,
Bio with
I
the
love it.
phospholipids at the end.
So
And they used to just educate doctors. They would do these conferences, and the way that they would educate and find the functional and integrative practitioners and doctors was through these small, kind of 40-person conferences where they would educate on IV protocol and then the oral protocol for detoxification that they had come up with. In the beginning, it was used for like neurodegeneration, autism, epilepsy, things like that, strokes, post stroke. And it kind of fishtailed out because so many doctors were using it and seeing so many successes. So they thought like, okay, how can we use this in all these different applications? I actually never used to talk about PC as a detoxifier until about June of last year when I was sitting with a friend of mine who's a doctor. And I said, like, we're being poisoned. What is there to do about it? And she laughed at me. She was like, you're sitting on the answer. Like, what is wrong with you? I see in all my patients' tests decreased levels of microplastics, decreased levels of pesticides, herbicides, glyphosate, molds through taking phospholipids. That's the point of phospholipid therapy. And so
wow.
my job is to sit with all these incredible people. It was to sit with my grandfather for years and really try and understand, like, how do we simplify this so that everybody can understand it?
Yeah.
Because when my husband and I got involved in the company in 2017, it was at a pivotal time in which people were starting to shift into taking their health into their own hands. There was like this growing, not distrust in allopathic medicine, but there's this feeling that no one is helping me and I need to help myself. And that happened to me personally. So I feel very empathetic towards people who are going through chronic illness. And, I think when you've experienced something personally, I've had Lyme, I've had mold toxicity, I've had IBD, I've had Hashimoto's. Had
Whoa.
is the key word here on all this. So, I've gone through the gamut with my health and I feel great. And I feel better than I have ever, I think now in my 40s. But BodyBio is it's a unique company because so many companies in this space are part of larger conglomerates or are contract manufacturers, and we actually make the stuff. So that's what makes us so different in this space, and I think that's part of what makes our IP so unique.
No, and one of the things that I think is a conversation a lot of people are having right now is just the distrust in the supplement industry in general
Yeah.
because where are these supplements coming from? Who's actually making them? What's actually in them? Or there was just another big brand that I saw a couple weeks ago that apparently they weren't actually putting in the product what they said they were putting in the product, and it was a company that had been taking their electrolytes, right? So it's a thing. I think now it's like the distrust in 2017 is now in a lot of the wellness brands. And so the fact that you guys are making them, you guys are the science, you guys are doing those things, that's huge. And I'd love for you to talk through, like, okay, so for someone who is starting with BioBody and they're like, okay, I want to start taking like your top 3 products. Like, what is my like starter pack? Like, what do I need to start taking to kind of hit all these things that you mentioned? The inflammation, the toxic load, like all of that.
Yeah, it's super easy. It's just called Foundational Bundle. It's on our website. I think I put it together in like 2018 when we first launched D2C. It's PC, balance oil, butyrate. It's gut, it's brain, it's cell. It's all of these things. It's connecting. And it's a pivotal part of the original IV detoxification methods that they were doing in the 90s and the early 2000s. And that's the oral protocol that goes along with it. And so that's the easiest way, 2 caps a day of each of the products. Easy. If you want to increase your dose and do like a detoxification protocol, we're actually going to work on like coming out with bundles for that.
That's good.
I'd be happy to provide you for the show notes, like some of their PDFs that people can go to and see kind of the increased doses for if you wanted to do, let's say like a 3 to 6 months. That's typically how long it's going to take to use the products at a higher dose to decrease all this stuff in your body. And you can do, like at the beginning, you could order like a vibrant wellness test, see all your toxic issues, do this protocol for 3 or 6 months, and then take the test again and see them come down. You'll be fascinated. It's awesome.
Is that something that someone who is breastfeeding or pregnant can do? Like,
I'd wait until you're done.
Until you're done.
When you're pregnant and breastfeeding, just let your body do its thing. Give it all the nourishing foods. Give it the nourishing supplements, PC, minerals from Elite, the essential fatty acids and the healthy fats from balance oil, but don't mess with your body when you're pregnant or breastfeeding. You do that either in between kids, although I didn't give myself much time in between just to rebuild, or you do it when you're done.
So good.
Or before, too.
Yeah.
If you have people listening who aren't pregnant yet.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's like what you said, it's all these children that are born now with these toxic burdens already. So if you can do it in between, great idea.
You can do it in between, or you can do it. You can take like a 6-month period to really like shore up your cellular health and take, a tablespoon a day of PC, a tablespoon of balance oil, maybe like 4 caps of glutathione a day, some butyrate, some TUDCA. Like, you are cleaning up those mitochondria for healthy babies for sure. So I think that's a really important piece to it. And then the other thing we're coming out with next week that I'm super excited about is a skin bundle. So it's PC, balance oil, and liposomal vitamin C for collagen support. So you're getting the healthy fats, the essential fatty acids that are really like plumping the skin from within. So this is helpful for people who have acne, absolutely. But this is really also for like the anti-aging and like the wrinkle prevention and the skin barrier strength. So many people say to me like, well, what are you doing if you're kind of non-toxic and you don't do the stuff? I do a lot of topical stuff. Like, I love topical treatments. I love Korean skincare. I love lasers. But I also love to do as much as I can from within to plump for the outside. So I'm super excited about that bundle as well.
Okay, so you are so inspiring it on. I love how y'all do on the BodyBio Instagram account. Like, they will spotlight you and they will like show like some of your routines and the products that you have in your bag. Remember, there was this one reel where you were at a restaurant. It was like, what's in your bag right now? And you're pulling out like digestive bitters. It's just so fun. And I love that stuff. And I think that people love that too, because they're like, what's in your daily routine? Like, what are the top products? So obviously you're taking your BodyBio products, which everyone's going to hit up. But what are some other things that are like in your bag or in your day-to-day? Is it a skincare product that you're like, I can't live without this? Any other mentionables?
Okay, skin care that I cannot live without. OCL, Briotech, I don't care what brand it is, Active. If you want to use the SOS one, skin spray. Like, love Active skin spray. I have it in all, like my car, I have it in my kid's bag, I have it everywhere.
I love the Briotech.
Love that as like a fresh up.
Love.
Cannot live without skincare. Oh, there's so many. I mean, we all follow probably Emily Morrow, so we know about her entire shop. I'd say I've probably purchased most of the things on there.
Yes.
And tried them all. I'd like to really like change it up every night with my serums. I'm really liking right now that Synbiome company for my daily moisturizer.
Okay.
I'm liking that. and Color Science Flex for my SPF and like
Okay.
foundation on a daily basis. I just love that was a recommendation from Emily. Every day, like things that I do outside of BodyBio products. There is one product that I take every single day that is not BodyBio. It's by Energetics and it's called Pure Body Clear. And it's a liver support supplement. And I love that supplement. I take 2 in the morning and 2 at night with my glutathione. I only take BodyBio glutathione. I would never take one of those smelly sulfur goos. we don't, put any flavorings or sweeteners in to change any scents or tastes in BodyBio products. I'm trying to think of like what else. Bitters, always Urban Moonshine.
I have that one because of you. Bought
Love
that.
it.
Yep.
It's the best.
So
I
good.
have all 3 sizes. Tincture. I give it to my kids. If my kids get a tummy ache, I'm like, we call it the swishy stuff.
Oh.
And I give them like a little dropper of the tincture and then they swish it around their mouth to get like their saliva and swallow it. And then I give them a little like sparkling water and I swear it gets rid of their tummy aches.
And I mean, I just want to say, like, you told me off camera, like before we started recording, that you have a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and 7-year-old.
Yeah.
Okay, so like you're getting your kids to take this stuff. So just saying,
Yeah.
mamas, like you can do it. Like you absolutely can.
And my pickiest is my 5.5-year-old, and she's like, "Mommy, I have a tummy ache. Give me the swishy stuff."
So she said, "Let's go."
She loves it. The other thing, just to mention on the kids front, I think 2. I haven't had them tested, but I'm pretty sure 2 out of the 3 kids have MTHFR.
Okay, yeah, mine do as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my baby does too. Yeah. But for the 2 older that are in school, I open a cap of Inspiracell, Vervita Inspiracell every day.
Okay.
And I put it in orange juice. I put it in a little milk frother and they take a shot of it every day for the methylated B and all those other supports for their cellular health. I notice a huge difference with that and PC with them. Huge difference in concentration in school.
I will say, you said the swishy stuff. My son, we do a honey shot. So the way that we get him to do his PC is we'll do like his dab of PC and then we do a little like raw honey we just get it like a local on top of it. And he just calls it his honey shot and he loves it. It's like, it's sweet and he has no idea what he's taking and he loves it.
I had a mom tell me the other day she takes it with ice cream. I said, fine. Whatever you got to do.
Whatever you got to do.
That's how your kid's going to take it. Go for it.
Take it with ice cream. That's so good.
Why
okay.
not?
Any other products or any other of your favorites that you're like in your bag? The Urban Moonshine I think is a really good one.
So I always carry around this thing called a Flow Vibe, which is a lymphatic drainage tool.
Oh.
It looks like a vibrator. I love it. And you put it, so Kelly Kennedy is like my lymph queen.
Okay.
You put it here, you put it on these points to just drain out that lymph, particularly in the winter when we're all getting colds. My kids use it when they have a cold.
Oh.
I have like 3 and I have them in all my bags. Therabody face mask, red light face mask. It's a 9-minute cycle. I'm loving it. Mm-hmm. And, a couple Korean skincare masks. Those are my favorite at night. And then occasionally, like my, not so clean loves for skincare is Biologique Recharge. I just love that French company.
So good.
So some of their products I love.
So good. And it's so funny that how many times we mentioned Emily Morrow because she has influenced me too as well for skincare. So many things I'm using is because of her. For BodyBio, anything you mentioned that you guys have a new kind of reformulated product coming out next week. Is there anything else coming? Anything else in the pipeline that people can be excited about? Or where can they find more about BodyBio?
So we've got Skin Cell Essentials bundle coming out next week. Resolvin name change is happening in like 2 weeks. Next up, we're working on a couple cool things. I won't announce them yet because they're just in the works. I will say that Gut Plus, which if you follow BodyBio and you tried the product, it gained like a cult following so quickly.
Oh, I haven't taken
it. It will be back out.
Okay.
It's just probably not until like the end of the year, but it's coming. It's coming.
So many good things. So where can everyone come and find you? Follow BodyBio, check out the products.
All handles at BodyBio. My personal handle is at Jess Kane and bodybio.com.
Love it. Love it. Go get the PC. If I can say like one product to start with that I notice such a huge difference is the PC. Yeah. My husband takes it, my toddler, we all notice such a difference. I'm going to give it to my baby. So after this episode.
And the other thing I never even talked about, but it's like my little like mom toolkit is Calm. It's such a cool formulation. It works in 5 minutes and it makes me a nicer mom. So BodyBio Calm's really unique. Oh. It also like helps you sleep and it helps with heart rate variability. So love that.
Wow. Okay. I'm adding that in as well.
So many
Amazing.
hacks.
So many hacks. You have been so helpful. And also, I think encouraging to moms, just giving permission around some of these things. Like, yeah, if you have to give your baby or your child this product with a little ice cream, it's all good. Like
Yeah.
this is life and this is 2025 and we're all doing our best. And I'm really just grateful to you. So thanks for being on the show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode with Jess Berman of BodyBio. I don't know about you, but I absolutely loved learning from her. Not only is she a mom, but she's also an expert in a lot of this stuff around cellular health that, I'll be honest with you, up until a couple of years ago was very new to me and a little nuanced and complex. So if you loved this episode, please let us know. Leave a review. A 5-star review helps us get our message to more listeners. And you can always take a screenshot, tag us on Instagram. You can tag me at Erica Auckland and at Trust Issues Podcast. Share this episode out with other people who might also need this information too. And I'll see you in the next episode.